Hello students, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, we are going to start with a new chapter of Science 1, that is periodic classification of elements. Now what do we understand by periodic classification of elements? It is the method by which elements are grouped on the basis of their characteristics. That is, we keep the elements that are alike in one group and the rest of the elements in the other group, right? Now, in the periodic table, which we will be studying ultimately in this chapter, there are certain empty spaces which have been left so that the elements that will be discovered in the future can be placed without disturbing the trending periodicity of the elements. Now, what is the significance of periodic classification of elements? First, it makes the study of elements easy, right? Because we have a fixed pattern in which the elements change their properties, and also it helps in discovering new elements. At least you can come to know which element can be placed where. Even if the element is not discovered till yet, you will know the element which is missing will have certain properties. Followed? So that is what we are going to see in this particular video. So let us start with few questions. Now the first is, what are the types of matter? We know that the three commonly states of matter is solid, liquid and gas. Then other is plasma also, right? Then what are the types of elements? We know that elements are metals, non-metals and metalloids. We'll be studying their properties in detail. What are the smallest particles of matter called as? They are called as atoms. Correct? What is the difference between the molecules of elements and compounds? Elements contain only one kind of atoms in the free state or combined state. Correct? Also, an element cannot be decomposed into simple substances by any chemical reaction or simple physical process. Example, copper, iron, oxygen. Whereas a compound is produced by a chemical reaction of two or more elements. So the constituents of a compound can be separated by a chemical process. For example, salt, water and sugar. Right? Now we are going to start with how the classification started taking place. Correct? And how we ultimately led ourselves to the periodic table, modern periodic table we have today. So let us start with how we initially started classifying the elements. Now, all the atoms of an element are of one type. For example, gold will have same atoms. Hydrogen will have same atoms. Correct? Now, today 118 elements are known to the world. However, around year 1800 only, about 30 elements were known, which is very less as compared to today. More number of elements were discovered in the course of time. More and more information about the properties of these elements were gathered. To ease the study of such a large number of elements, scientists started studying the pattern in the vast information about them. Correct? In initial years, elements were classified into the groups of metals and non-metals. Then later on, we came to know that there exists a class which is called as metalloids. So again, we had to change the way we classified them. Then, as knowledge about the elements and their properties went on increasing, different scientists started trying out different methods of classification. So let us start with the first classification method, that is done by a German scientist, Dobereiner, in the year 1817. What he suggested that the properties of elements are related to their atomic masses. Now he made groups of 3 elements each having similar chemical properties and called them as triads. Triads because it is a group of 3 elements, that is why. Now he arranged the 3 elements in a triad in an increasing order of their atomic mass. Suppose one element has 1 as the atomic mass, another has 2, and the third one has 3 as the atomic mass. So he arranged them in their increasing order of 1, 2 and 3 and showed that the atomic mass of middle element was approximately equal to the mean of atomic masses of other two elements. For example, 1 plus 3 upon 2. So that is 4 upon 2 will be 2. So that is the mass of your second element. However, all the known elements could not be classified into the Dobereiner's triads. Let us see some examples of Dobereiner's triads which were proposed by him. The first triad was lithium, sodium and potassium. Element 1 is lithium, that is 6.9. Element 2 is sodium, that is 23.0. Element 3 is potassium, that is 39.1. Right? Now lithium and potassium, their masses put together, they will be 6.9 plus 39.1. So that is 46 upon 2. That gives you a mass of 23 for sodium, and that is actual mass of sodium. So for this particular triad, Dobereiner's theory stands quite good. Now next triad was calcium, strontium and barium. Calcium, if you see, it is 40.1. Strontium, which is 87.6, we will be calculating the mass of strontium. Element 3, that is barium. Now calcium and barium put together, it gives you 40.1 plus 137.3 upon 2. If you take a mean of that, you get approximately 88.7, which is quite close to the actual mass of strontium, that is 87.6. Correct? Moving on to the next, that is chlorine, bromine and iodine. Now chlorine, which is the first element, that is 35.5. Bromine, that is 79.9. We'll be calculating the mass for bromine now. And iodine, which is 79.9. So for bromine, if we put chlorine, that is 35.5, and iodine, which is 79.9 together and take a mean, it gives us an approximate mass of 81.2. And the actual mass of barium is 79.9. So for this also, the Dobereiner's triad stands, the Dobereiner's theory stands true. Correct? In your book, on page number 16, there are Dobereiner's triads question given. Right? Identify Dobereiner's triads from the following groups of elements having similar chemical properties. So please do solve that question. Now moving on to the next, that is Newland's law of octaves. After Dobereiner, Newland he started classifying elements. Now Newland's law of octaves states that when the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses, every eighth element has properties similar to those of the first. For example, if you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 element, then again 8th, right? So 8th and first will have the same properties. Correct? Now in the first, now at first what he said, that the Newland's law which he suggested, he said that the element will possess the properties the same way the 7 notes of Indian music system, that is sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. Again it will be sa, right? So sa is first and sa is 8th again. Correct? So both will have same properties. Now if we illustrate this law, in the first 21 elements, except inert gases, that is noble gases, are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic masses. We have octaves as given below. Correct? How the octaves will be? See here. Hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. Then sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur and so on. Correct. It is found that sodium is the 8th element from lithium, and both of them have similar properties. Let's see. Here we have lithium in the note Re. Correct. Lithium, then sodium, then again 8th element is potassium. All of them are metal, copper, rubidium. So they are placed in one group under one note, and they all have similar properties. Similarly, the elements in the following pair show similar properties. For example, carbon and silicon, sodium and potassium, magnesium and calcium, fluorine and chlorine. You can see your carbon and silicon. See here, they are placed in musical note Pa, right? Oxygen, sulfur placed in note Ni, followed. Then fluorine, chlorine again in musical note Sa. But then Newland's law of octaves have some limitations. What are these limitations? It is applicable only to the first few elements, that is only up to calcium, out of the total 56 elements which were known at that time. Also, Newland placed 2 elements each in some boxes. For example, see here, cobalt and nickel, cerium and lanthanum. He has placed 2 elements in one boxes, which is not possible. He placed some elements with different properties under the same note in the octave. For example, copper and nickel he has placed under the note Sa or Do, right? Along with the halogens. See here, hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, they are all halogens, and he has placed cobalt and nickel along with them. While iron, which is similar with cobalt and nickel, it is placed away from them along with the non-metals, whereas iron is a metal. So where is iron placed? It is placed along with oxygen and sulfur. They are non-metal. So this has its own limitations. Newland's octaves did not have provision to accommodate the newly discovered elements also. So because he has not left any place vacant. So where you can place the new elements. So these are the Newland's law of octaves limitations. What is the first limitation? It is applicable only to the first few elements, that is only up till calcium. Whereas that time 56 elements were known. Also he has placed few elements together in one boxes, right, under the same note, which is not possible. Also few elements he has placed along with the elements possessing different property. For example, cobalt and nickel placed along with the halogens, that is also not possible. Whereas iron, which is a metal, is placed along with oxygen and sulfur. They are non-metals. Iron is a metal, so that is also not possible. Also he has not put any spaces vacant for the new elements to be accommodated. So these were the two scientists who put the initial efforts. Of course, though not completely correct, but then they at least started doing that, right? And their work played a very important role in further classifying the elements. I hope you have understood both the Dobereiner's triads and the Newland's law of octaves really well. Now in Dobereiner's triads, this particular table is very important. You need to learn all the examples well and the statement of the triad well, okay? Here also statement and limitations and the table, all you have to do properly. Followed, students? I hope you have understood the topic well. Practice questions you have to solve from your textbook as well as from your workbook. Okay, students? Thank you so much for watching the video.